And it's Saturday morning, December the 13th, year of our Lord, 2025. You're locked into Doing Lives with the Let's Not Do This podcast. You got the big O, Leon Oliver, sitting alongside one of the unwisest men in America. And we are just 2 weeks away, I guess, from Boxing Day. It would be the day after Christmas, right? 2 weeks from now would be a week from now is the 20th. And then a week after that would be the 27th. So actually, 1 day after what would be Boxing Day, 2 weeks from now. I don't know. Christmas, all this stuff. It all gets all blended in. But we're good. We got some gifts for you this morning, and those are called W's on your betting sheet. Some green check marks there. Scotty, how are you this morning, sir?
Not too bad. I know you're going to show the records here in my disgusting NFL record, but actually been on a tear NFL the last couple of weeks. Just not on the podcast, of course. Still can't figure that out. Drake 15-6 run on my straight bets in the NFL.
Drake said, start it from the bottom. Now we hear you just started from the bottom and you're still there. So it's okay. We'll get into that in a little bit. We got NFL week 15 as we go down the stretch. Of course, fantasy football playoffs this week too for we don't have fantasy picks. Well, maybe if you have a question for us, you want to drop that in the chat, you can do that. We'll give you some advice there. But I know a lot of people in their playoffs. Scotty, you and I both not in the playoffs in your league, but I am in the playoffs in a very weird league that I'm in, and I'm the 1 seed, so I feel pretty good about that. We'll probably get my teeth kicked in, but what are you going to do? Yeah, also, we got Army Navy. Oh, go on.
I think I made the playoffs in every league I'm in except for ours. It's usually how it goes.
And we got Army Navy. We got a bowl game, the Bucked Up LA Bowl, because, nothing says bowl season like the Bucked Up LA Bowl. I got some FCS plays for you as well for the quarterfinals of the playoffs. So busy show this morning. Of course, make sure to like and subscribe. Click that little button down there and be a friend, tell a friend, and help us grow this bad boy so we can do some cool stuff and get some cool people watching and listening and liking and see what we can do to win you some money there. Chris not with us this morning, of course. Around the Commonwealth of Virginia, we got a lot of people on the highways and byways going over the woods and through the woods to see grandma. We want to get those animals off the side of the road, all that road kills. So Chris is picking up badgers and raccoons and deer and whatever else is on the side of the road across this fine Commonwealth of Virginia. Someone's got to do it, Chris. We appreciate you doing it.
I thought he was still celebrating the UVA win against Tech.
Yeah, well, Duke kind of threw a ratchet into those things now. So I think he's done with college football season. He's moved on to basketball, he says. We're on to basketball. I'm on to college soccer, by the way, because my North Carolina State Wolfpack in the championship game in the NCAA tournament on Monday, taking on the University of Washington. It's going to be a dogfight. Ha, 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 ha. Huskies and Wolfpack getting it on for carry on. Thank you. All right. Well, without further ado, let's get into some picks this week. And we'll start off with America's game, Army Navy. And before we do that, we'll bring in the standings to see how everyone is doing. Scotty, college football, you're leading the way right now at 42-35 and that one push. Chris at 38-38 in the 2 pushes, and I'm coming in at 34-43 and 1. Of course, all of our picks against the spread, and you have to go at a maximum of minus 120 on these picks. So no picking.
Yeah, we're not doing that heavy juice here.
Yeah, no picking Georgia minus.
We're not those people like you see on ESPN sometimes giving out minus 250s.
Gross.
Like anybody could do that shit.
Gross. Yeah, I think Alabama's going to beat Northern Illinois. Yeah. Oh, you think? Yeah, no, we don't do that here. Moving on over to the National Football League. Chris is on top at 34-27. I am steadily rising up at 31-28-2. Scotty, you're coming in. You're the prop king. I don't know if these props have been working for you lately in the NFL. You're at 26-33-2. And then overall, Chris coming in at 72-65-2. Scotty, you're at 68-68-3. And I'm bringing up the rear at 65-71-3.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm probably up on the NFL season, but for whatever reason, the picks I give out on the podcast for NFL are not hidden. But I've been doing good on the props. I don't usually give a lot of those out except for Thursday nights, but I got a couple today that I think are going to hit.
Prop King. Well, let's see what hits, and let's get into these picks brought to you by Absolutely No One. Of course, if you want to sponsor that, send an email to info at let's not do this podcast.com and help us, help you, help us, help you. And Scotty, I got a new little rollout for the picks this week. Let's see what I created on Google VO, by the way, a little AI. I'm not even going to take credit for this. So if it's bad, it was there.
Get ready to cash in on the action. It's time for our expert betting picks.
Thank you, VO. Of course, that looks a lot different than we go to the sports book because usually it's just Chris crying into a Corona Ultra.
and us trying to stay awake.
Yeah. One should not consume
so
24 hours of college basketball in a casino over 2 days. It's not good for your bank account. All right. Let's get into these picks here. America's game, Army Navy. Where is it today? It's Philadelphia, I believe, isn't it?
Baltimore.
Baltimore. Okay, Baltimore. Army Navy. I knew it was somewhere on the eastern seaboard there. Army coming in. Disappointing year after that 10-win team last year winning the American Athletic Conference. 6-5 are Jeff Monken's boys. They make the trip on down to Baltimore, not too far from Annapolis, where the midshipmen hail from. Navy coming in 9-2. Navy, 6.5-point favorite. Total set at 38.5. We know about those Service Academy unders. Scotty, you have Chris's picks. I'll let you set the table with what he's thinking here, and then you can go to you.
Chris is going Army plus the 6.5. Not a bad strategy to always just either go with the under or the underdog in this game. Those usually end up hitting. I am actually going the opposite of him, though. I'm taking the points or laying the points with Navy here. Not the wisest move in this game, but I just think Navy is just a much better team right now. Navy first in the American Conference in yards per rush at 6.1. Army is 10th at 4.3, so huge difference there. And obviously going to be a lot of running in this game. You go to the defensive side, Navy is 5th in the conference in yards per rush at 4.1, and Army is 9th at 4.5. So offense and defensive side, Navy has a huge advantage running the ball. And I know they say throw out the records, which is true on this game, but I just think Navy's the much better team. And I think it's moved up to 7 somewhere. I forgot where, but it's juiced too heavy to give Chris the 7. So it could end up going to 7. So that means some money's coming in on Navy. Kind of gross for me to take that with the low total, but yeah, I just think Navy's too good here. Give me the minus 6.5.
Gotcha. All right, minus 6.5. Yeah, you're right. There is a 7 on Bet Rivers, but that's at plus 121. So I mean minus 121. So just over there. So on this one here, we've all heard the stats since if you watch the Cover 3 podcast, Tom Fornelli and their little picks that they do on Thursdays is in the intro. Since 2005, games involving service academies, they got the record there of what the over-under is. Well, I got the update here. Since 2005, games involving service academies are 46, 12, and 1. That's a 79, almost 80% hit rate there on the under. Obviously, this game, 2 triple option offenses, chew the clock, limit possessions, ball control over explosive plays. Here's the thing, though. This total originally opened around 44, 45, and it's been bet down to 38.5 due to public money coming in on that under, chasing this trend here. The odds makers, they've adjusted those totals lower in recent years. We saw, it's a couple years ago, the over-under on this game was like 28, I believe. So obviously, they're inflating the perceived value of the over when the scoring potential exists there. But, Scotty, you talked about Navy's offense a little bit. Navy averages 33 points a game. They got that dual threat quarterback, Blake Horvath. He's got 1,200 yards rushing projected. He's improved passing. They've been in higher scoring games this year. They've hit that 40-point or 40-plus point mark multiple times this year. Army plays solid defense, but facing a similar scheme, they practice against weekly. Obviously, they know how to stop it, but each team knows how to exploit it as well. And last year, this game went over. Navy won 31-13. I'm going to go with the over. in this game. I think Navy gets the win. I always root for Army in this game. Of course, there's never a loser because these fine young men will be serving our country. But yeah, give me the over 38.5 on this one. And I think the middies get that Commander-in-Chief trophy as well.
Yeah, I don't hate that. You talk about last year, Navy was 6.5 point underdogs and ended up blowing out Army. And yeah, now they're 6.5 point favorites. But I think they're better everywhere. So,
and that was a much better Army team than this year.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, starting the year off with that loss to Tarleton State as well for Army. So, all right, that is our Army Navy pick. Now, I have some FCS. Actually, you know what? There's one more. I don't think anyone has this on our card. It's not an official pick, but we got the Bucked Up LA Bowl. Boise State taking on Washington there at SoFi Stadium there tonight on ABC. Scotty, we're degenerates. I'm sure us both will be watching that. Yeah.
Boise. I'm going to bet this. Boise State. Too many points.
Oh, you're going to put this on your card officially?
Not on my card. It's not on my card, but I will be betting it. Yeah, Boise's going to care about this game more. They just got their quarterback back, so I'm sure he's going to be out there trying. I haven't looked at the opt-outs for this game, but yeah, I can see a lot of guys for Washington just not caring. Their coach is a name that's bouncing around from Michigan. Yeah, too many points.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. I like Boise plus the 10 points here. I mean, they have a very balanced attack. You talked about Maddox Madsen coming back, Dylan Rowley, the running back. Key thing for Boise State is can they accumulate yards on the ground? They're 6-0 when they rush for over 165 yards. Washington gives up about 140 yards in their losses this year, so that's going to be key. Boise State's run game matches up well against this defense. If they can run the ball, I wouldn't shock me if Boise State covered this one and won it outright. You talked about motivation, especially in this day and age. There's always a question of what team wants to be there more. Usually in these matchups, the power conference team, some guys are thinking about other things. You mentioned head coach, was it Jed Fish, his name coming up for the Michigan job and stuff. And how locked in are some of these Husky guys? Obviously, they did have a very dynamic quarterback, but I think their brains may be elsewhere. They may be thinking about Christmas vacation, those boys from Seattle. So, yeah, Boise plus the 10 unofficially on our cards here. All right, I got a couple FCS plays here, Scotty. Villanova, number 12 team in the land, heading to Stephenville, Texas. You ever heard of Stephenville, Texas?
No.
There is a Sonny Ledford song about bull riding called Jim Sharp, and he's like, Jewel something drives a Lexus. He's the baddest motherfucker from Stephenville, Texas. I always think about that. But yes, the Tarleton State Texans from Stephenville, Texas, at home, number 4 team in the land, 12-1 on the year, went to Annapolis, went to West Point and beat Army earlier this year. That was one of the bigger upsets early in the season before we knew what Army was going to be this year. Tarleton State laying the 12.5 at home with the total at 54.5, noon on the mothership. And by the way, look for some rowdy Texans. Tarleton State doing $1 beer and hot dogs today. What could go wrong, Scotty? $1 beer for college kids.
This is like that picture you sent over with the BKFC, the bare knuckle fighting on the cruise going to the Bahamas. So, yeah, nobody go to that because that's going to be in the news. I'll predict it here. If there's a Kalshi bet out there that I can bet on somebody getting arrested or somebody going missing on that cruise ship. Yeah, let's get a bunch of drunk people with unlimited alcohol, fight fans that are going to be already amped up. Yeah, what a terrible idea. But yeah, maybe not as amped up for this game, but yeah, still $1 beer. Be a lot of drunk guys out there. What better way to get your fans into the game, though?
Yeah, and what the hell else is there to do in lovely Stephenville, Texas on this one? So this game, Villanova getting the 12 points going on the road. I love this, actually. Give me the Wildcats plus the 12.5. This is not officially on our card, but I am betting this. Villanova riding a 10-game win streak. They're the only FCS team with 3 650-yard plus rushers. They blew out Harvard in the opening week and then a close win, making the trip across state to Lehigh last week. You got Tarleton State. They're favored by, depending on the book, you're seeing 11.5, 12.5 at home. Villanova's physical. They like to run the ball. They don't turn the ball over. They have the fewest turnovers in FCS. Give me Villanova plus that 12.5 on the road there in Stephenville, taking on Tarleton State. The pride of Howie Long there, proud Villanova Wildcat football alum there. Moving on over to Washington Grizzly Stadium, you got Montana, number 3 team in the land, 12-1, taking on the Coyotes, the University of South Dakota. South Dakota 10-4 on the year. Montana laying the 7.5. Total set at 60.5. Not a lot on this one. The Grizzlies are explosive. Eli Gilman's got over 1,300 yards on the ground. Washington Grizzly Stadium is loud. It's like the Outson Stadium of the FCS. That is a tough place to play. It's going to be cold. They're 12-1. They got this home field advantage. They've earned it. South Dakota's tough, man. You know, they picked up a couple big road wins. You know, obviously they've been here before in this situation, but yeah, give me Montana. I wouldn't be surprised if they win this game by double digits, but I like the Grizz to cover this 7.5 over the Coyotes. And usually in real life, if a Grizzly fights a Coyote, the Grizzly's gonna win, right?
I would imagine. I don't know.
Yeah.
Never know. There's always those weird animal matchups where, like, somehow the little animal wins. I don't know.
And then also the nightcap this evening in the FCS, you got the surprising Redbirds of Illinois State from beautiful Normal, Illinois there. 10-4 on the year, making the trip, taking on UC Davis, the Aggies 9-3. UC Davis laying 2.5, total at 58.5. This game, 5 o'clock on ESPN+. UC Davis did not expect to be hosting a playoff game right now. Illinois State, they just went on the road and knocked off North Dakota State last week. Yeah, North Dakota State in the Fargo Dome. They knocked off the defending national champion Bison, despite their quarterback throwing 5 interceptions. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 picks. And they still rallied to come from behind and knock off North Dakota State in the Fargo Dome. Listen, that was a big emotional win. Now you had to go across country to a Aggie team who blew out the Redbirds 42-10 last year in the playoffs. I love this UC Davis team in this spot right now. 2.5. I think this is a really enticing line. I think it should be higher. I think it should be 6.5. Give me the Aggies of UC Davis to cover there. I think Illinois State left everything in Fargo last week. All right, moving on over here to the National Football League. Scotty, let's take a look here. Buffalo making the trek to Foxborough, taking on New England. Bills 9-4, Pats 11-2. Matchup of 2 of the game's more exciting quarterbacks, Josh Allen and Drake May. Buffalo laying the 1.5, total at 49.5, 1 o'clock on CBS. Who's got this game?
Me and Chris have this. We are on the same side. We're taking Buffalo, and there's actually some Buffalo money lines that are on a couple books that are under our minus 120. So we are both taking that. Bills they've been up and down this year, but they're playing better right now. They always show up in these big games, and then the next week they'll lose to the Panthers or something. So I think they'll be up for this game. The Patriots coming off a bye, but they went into that bye. They have a 10-game winning streak. So I think they're feeling a little too good about themselves right now. I think now they have this huge division game. All of a sudden, the Bills are right there again if they can knock off New England here. And revenge for the Bills. New England beat them 23-20 earlier in the season. Yeah, I think Josh Allen plays Superman, and James Cook has a good game. That pass defense does enough to slow down Drake May, and I think the Bills get the win here.
Don't hate it. I could not make my mind up on this one. I was potentially looking at the under. I know it should be frigid. It's frigid all over pretty much the Midwest and East Coast this Sunday. A lot of really cold weather games. These two teams know each other obviously very well. I was looking at potentially under, but I decided to just sidestep it. But I don't hate that pick there.
Oh, yeah, under is definitely in play too.
Moving on over here. 1 o'clock, CBS, America's Most Watched Network, the network of stars. Joe Burrow, maybe going the way of Andrew Luck. He doesn't seem to be having a lot of fun playing football right now. They're 4-9. They're at home taking on the 6-7. I know, 6-7 Ravens. Baltimore laying the 2.5. Total set at 51.5 Sunday at 1 o'clock. I have this game on my card. Anyone else joining me on this?
I do.
Okay, I will go first. Ooh, right. I'll go first in this one. Arctic temperatures here in Cincinnati. You remember that freezer bowl? Well, you probably don't remember. I think it was like 1982. They played the Chargers in the playoffs. I think Kellen Winslow Sr. had a big game in that one, but it was like literally, I think the river like froze outside the stadium there in Cincinnati. It was so cold. Won't be that cold, but it's going to be frigid. Kickoff temperatures are around 10 to 12 degrees. I think they said with the wind chill, which is about 9 miles an hour tomorrow, it could feel -4 to -11, which this could potentially be the coldest game in Baltimore Ravens history. What does that tell you? Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Both teams are going to try to ground and pound this thing out a little bit more in these conditions. Fewer possessions, more 3-and-outs. These two teams know each other well. They play each other, twice a year. In the AFC North, AFC's black and blue division, it's going to be a fist fight. 51.5 is assuming a shootout. Well, there's no T. Higgins, obviously, with his concussion situation. We got adverse weather conditions, maybe some sloppy play. Maybe this thing's going to be like carrying a ton of bricks. Maybe you fumble the ball. Give me the under 51.5 there at Paycor Stadium tomorrow.
All right, let me write that down. 51.5. Yeah, I don't hate that either with the weather, but a little surprising that the total is that high given all that. So Vegas thinks there will be at least a little bit of passing, which I'm going to need for my prop bet here to hit. I'm going over 35.5 receiving yards over on Bet Rivers for Isaiah Likely.
Ooh.
The Bengals, by far the worst team against tight ends in the league. They give up 96.8 yards per game to the tight end position. Number 2 in the league is the Seahawks, and they give up 71.8. So they are the worst team by 25 yards a game against the tight end position. And Likely hasn't had a great year, but he's got 6 targets each in the last 2 games. 2 weeks ago, he had 95 yards against these Bengals. So, yeah, I think he can easily get over this 35.5 yards here. Mark Andrews still sucks. Dropping passes left and right, getting extended for some reason. I don't understand that. But, yeah, I think Likely can at least hit this 36 yards even in this cold weather. Yeah, that's where I'm going.
Yeah, don't hate that. And do you think this total being so high is just people mainly because of Cincinnati's defense and how wretched it is?
Yeah, 2 bad defenses. Baltimore's been playing better, but yeah, just both defenses not very good. And probably a lot of money on people not looking at the weather report, just betting over.
Which, by the way, I imagine too with these two teams, you're going to see some field goals. Imagine kicking a ball in those temperature conditions. It's going to be like kicking a fucking block of concrete. Good luck with that.
Well, they get the kickers bring their own ball in, so I'm sure they have that.
Yeah, they got that K-ball
warmed up on the sideline. Yeah.
Was -11 wind chill is still -11 wind chill. You know what I mean? Like, this is gross. Speaking of gross, this game is on my card, 1 o'clock on CBS. You got the Jets, Jets making the trek on down to Duval, taking on the Jaguars. Jacksonville 9-4, hosting the 3-10 Jets. No Tyrod Taylor, no Justin Fields. We got Brady Cook making his starting debut for the New York Jets. Jags laying 13.5, total at 41.5. Listen, as a rule of thumb, I tend to stay away from these big double-digit spreads like this in the NFL because even from worst to first, these teams are usually not that far apart. That being said, you have an undrafted rookie making his first start on the road against a streaking Jaguars team that's leading the AFC South. They have a great pass rush, and the secondary is going to feast on this inexperienced quarterback. You got Trevor Lawrence, and the offense seems to be clicking now. The Jets are tanking. They want a quarterback. They're thinking about next year. Give me Jacksonville to just run it up, Herman, and leave no doubt to cover that 13.5. I may look at a prop for a defensive touchdown for Jacksonville because why do I see Brady Cook and I just think pick six? I'm Jaguars going to roll on this one.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. This is gross. I don't even know if they're going to let him throw the ball that much. So I'm looking. There is a couple 13s out there. So we'll give you 13.
Nice. 13. That's my lucky number, sir. That was my high school soccer number before I started drinking all of these fine beers.
13 would be your lucky number.
I was a Dan Marino guy, Dan Marino, Aguado Alfonso. Those are my favorite players,
Yeah, I don't know. I can't take that many points with Jacksonville. I don't think they're that good, but I also can't bet on the Jets. So I'll look at some type of prop probably.
Yeah, betting on the Jets is not good for your mental health or your financial health. I'm sure a lot of people in the New York area are probably losing their homes this year betting on the Jets.
Yeah, me and Chris were on the Jets on the podcast. That was one of my losses last week.
Gross.
Yeah.
Moving on down the line here, we got a little AFC West showdown. The Chargers, the Los Angeles Superchargers, making the trip to Arrowhead, taking on the 6-7 Chiefs. Of course, Travis Kelce expressing his frustrations in the media this week. I'm surprised Taylor let him talk. Kansas City laying the 6, total at 41.5, 1 o'clock on CBS. I had this game on my card. Do either you or Chris have it?
All three of us have it.
I'll let you take the honors then.
All right, Chris is going Chargers plus the 6. Obviously, the logic, the Chiefs haven't looked great, and they don't really cover these big numbers. Kind of surprising that this is a number. So I don't know if Vegas knows something that we don't. I am actually taking the total. I'm going with the under here. Another cold weather division game. These tend to go under. It's going to be 19 degrees, and both of these offenses are kind of struggling. The Chargers are getting back to running the ball because they don't really have an offensive line that can protect Justin Herbert, and he's got that hand injury. And the Chiefs, as bad as they've been, they are pretty good against the run. And the Chargers have a really good pass defense, and it's kind of what each team wants to do. So I think it's going to be a struggle for each team to put up points on the board. And we mentioned that cold weather. Mentioned Travis Kelce. He's washed. Mr. Swift is wouldn't be surprised if this is his last year. And then the Chargers, their offense was looking great to start the year, but that offensive line is just decimated. So probably a lot of running from them with Amarian Hampton back. But yeah, I think both teams are going to struggle here. Both defenses are going to play well. Going to be a struggle. Under 41.5.
I don't hate that. I originally was thinking joining you on that under there, but I'm actually taking LA plus the 6. I think this is a trap line. I think the public is all in on the Chiefs at home. You see Kansas City at 6-7. Something just tells you the law of averages. You just believe in Kansas City because of what they've done over the last few years. I think they've proven to us this year that they're not that Kansas City team. And this is the fall of that dynasty or whatever you want to say. It's crumbling down like the walls of Jericho right now. And I think if someone tells you who they are, you should believe them. And I think Kansas City has told us they're not an elite team anymore. And laying this 6.5 against LA, even with their issues, you mentioned the offensive line and Herbert dinged up. And I know it's a short week, after taking on the Eagles and stuff on Monday night. I think that ground and pound that LA is going to want to do, which, by the way, is Jim Harbaugh football through and through, is perfect for this type of game. Kansas City might sneak out a win. If they do, they're not going to cover, though. It might be a late field goal, maybe by 3 points, 2 points, something like that. But LA is going to cover this 6 in Arrowhead. But it wouldn't shock me if they come out victorious, which I think would be their first sweep of Kansas City since like 2013 or something like that, which shows you like the dominance that like the Chiefs have had over this division. But yeah, give me LA plus 6 at Arrowhead.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, except I think the trap is taking the Chargers. But I do think it's the right play because why is the line this high? The way they've been playing, it's like they want you to take the Chargers.
I'm going to open that door and I'm going to walk through it, Scotty. I'm taking the cheese.
Yeah, it's strange. I don't know.
Moving down the line, we got the Texans and the Cardinals. I'm not going to lie to you. This is absolutely gross. I know that there's some gross games this week. I had the Jets and the Jags. I hope Red Zone shows me like 3 seconds of this game, and it's a Texans defensive touchdown because I will be betting that. I don't have this on my card. Which one of you degenerates is betting on this?
That would be me. Let me see. There was one book that had an outlier line. It was Fanatics. I'm taking the Cardinals. I'm just seeing if I can still get that 10 out there on Fanatics. No, it's gone. So back to 9.5 for me. But yeah, I'm taking the Cardinals plus the 9.5. It was at 10 before like an hour ago, and it's got bet back down on Fanatics. But yeah, last year I talked a lot about Houston not covering these big numbers. They play in a lot of close games. They've only been more than 3-point favorites twice this year, and both of those were against the Titans. Covered one, didn't cover the other, and it's the Titans. They don't count. So yeah, I just think this is way too many points. Yeah, and I said last week the Cardinals were better than their 3-9 record. I'm still saying they're better than their 3-10 record. They've lost to a lot of good teams, played in a lot of close games, a couple blowouts where weird shit was happening, like that Seattle game. Brissett had 2 defensive touchdowns against them that were like a split second. DeMarcus Lawrence getting there just in time to knock the ball out of his hands and return it. Like, how often does that happen? But yeah, Cardinals are better than their record. Houston, great defense, maybe the best defense in the league right now. But that offense is just okay. I can't put my faith in them to go out and blow out teams. I do think Brissett, actually I should have went over on his pass yards because he's been hitting that like every week. I bet that last week and it hit. But I think Brissett will have a decent enough game to kind of keep them in this. And yeah, I can't trust Houston to beat a team by 10 points when they're the favorite. When they're underdogs, they'll come out and they'll look good and they might beat you by double digits, but they just don't cover these big numbers like that. So give me the Cardinals plus the 9.5.
Don't hate it. I don't hate that. If I had to go somewhere on this, I would look at potentially the under for that same reason. I don't think they can separate, but I don't see Arizona doing a ton against this defense. You mentioned the 2 defensive touchdowns the other week. I think Jacoby will turn the ball over against his defense. You mentioned, this is one of, if not the best defensive unit in the league here. Maybe that creates a situation where they can score in some short fields, but I don't know. I don't see a lot of offensive firepower from either side in this game, in this one. So if I had to bet this, I would lean toward the under. I almost put this on my card with the under, but then I thought better of it. Even though we expanded to 5 games this week because of the limited college slate, I still decided to leave this one off. All right, moving on here. We got Cleveland and Chicago. This one is on my card. I'll start off, and anyone else afterwards can join in. 1 o'clock on Fox. Shador and his Browns 3-10, coming off that bewildering loss to the Titans. And Chicago 9-4. Chicago laying the 7.5. Total set at a disgustingly low 38.5. We talked about weather conditions. This is another one of those. Soldier Field expected to be around 10 to 12 degrees. You got winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour. We're looking at potentially as low as negative 15 on wind chill. Potentially one of the coldest games in Soldier Field history, which, think about that. Soldier Field in Chicago, and the Bears, used to be a very good franchise back in the day. They made some late playoff runs and have had some late playoff games there. This potentially could be one of the coldest games ever there. What does that tell you? Cold severely limits passing efficiency. The ball is harder to grip and throw. The receivers are going to struggle with the routes. Offenses tend to lean heavily on, running the ball, churning the clock. The Bears, obviously, with their rushing attack, that 1-2 punch that they have, that's their bread and butter so far. Give me the under 38.5 points on this one. Just a good old-fashioned slobber knocker, gross football game in cold conditions. You gotta love it. If you like 1940s football, which I do, this might be a good game for you here. Give me under 38.5.
Yep, I got this one on my card as well. I'm going with a player prop for a lot of the reasons you just said. On the score bet, Caleb Williams' number is at 192.5 pass yards. I'm taking the under on that.
Ooh.
Like you said, 11-degree weather, the crazy wind chill, 10-mile-an-hour winds will affect that. Also, the Browns, number one pass defense in the league. Caleb Williams, it's about time for him to turn back into himself. He was hitting a lot of overs on his pass yards to begin the year, but has went under this low number even in better conditions the last 2 weeks. I don't see how he really gets over unless he hits like a bomb somewhere on a broken play or something. I just don't see how he gets over 192.5 against, like I said, the number one pass defense in the league in this weather.
Okay. Does Chris have this one?
No.
He's got it. Gotcha. For some reason, I thought he had this one. All right. Moving on here. Raiders, Eagles. Kenny Pickett getting the start against one of his former ball clubs here, making the trek to Philadelphia. Total set at, what is that? I can't read my own screen. 38.5. Philadelphia laying to 12.5. Eagles 8-5. Vegas 2-11. 1 o'clock on Fox.
Chris has this one. I do not. He's taking the Raiders plus the 12.5 points. I don't know. I kind of feel like the Eagles might come out here and let some frustration out and blow them out. But I don't know. That low total, that's a big number. But I don't know. Kenny Pickett out there. He'll probably throw a couple picks. I think Saquon has a big game. And I don't know. I think maybe they just enforce their will on the Raiders and cover this.
There's a lot of bad quarterbacks getting some spot starts this week. This might be a good week if you're looking at a parlay, maybe a little defensive touchdown parlay. I definitely am going to bet a Philadelphia defensive touchdown because look at Kenny Pickett. Doesn't he look like a guy that just wants to fumble in the end zone? Doesn't he look like a guy that's going to throw a pick six while staring down a receiver on a 1st and 8 because of a penalty at the 12-yard line? Doesn't he just look like that? It's coming.
When he's holding the ball, he looks like he's left-handed. He looks like he's holding the ball wrong. Maybe it's because he has those little hands. I don't know.
Hey, besides, your name is your destiny. Pick is literally in his last name. Kenny Pickett. I'm looking at that.
Kenny Pick Six Pickett.
Exactly. Chris, you should be ashamed of yourself for putting this on your card. I hope you pick up another squirrel
he was
right now.
Texting us during the show. He's probably not even watching.
Well,
if you can text us, you can watch.
Yeah, if you can text, you can watch. You can also make sure to pick up a mongoose or whatever it is on the side of the road right now. All right. We got, speaking of quarterbacks, the Colts have not officially announced the starter yet. They're doing the whole surprise starter thing, but all signs pointing to 44-year-old recently signed Phillip Rivers, delaying his potential appearance in the Hall of Fame. He was a semifinalist. That clock will reset now as soon as he takes a snap, but he's leading the 8-5 Colts into Seattle, taking on the 10-3 Seahawks. 425 on CBS. The Seahawks laying 13.5. Total is at 42.5. Once again, I'm going against my own rules. I tend to not get involved in spreads that are this big here, especially taking the favorite, but I'm laying that 13.5 points. Daniel Jones obviously lost for the year with the Achilles. He was kind of regressing back to Daniel Jones anyway before that. Phillip Rivers last took a snap in 2020. I saw him, we all saw the press conference and stuff, kind of funny starting off saying, hey, no Zoom, because last time it was COVID and Zoom calls, but he looks like he's just been eating since then. I know he's been coaching high school football. He's never been the most fleet of foot anyway. His delivery is still as wonky and ugly as always, but he's a proud Wolfpacker, and I'll always love him. But he ain't going to love this performance going against one of the better defenses in the league right now. We could potentially see Riley Leonard. I know he's dealing with an injury there, but still, you got an inexperienced Leonard or a very old, immobile Phillip Rivers that hasn't thrown a snap in an NFL game in 5 years. And you got Seattle, who's dominant at home. Their defense is number 1 in sacks and hits against the quarterback. That is an absolute nightmare for a quarterback that can't move. And by the way, I just want to point out again, 44 years old and can't move and hasn't thrown a pass in a competitive game in 5 years. There's no upside for Indianapolis here. They're travel worn. Where's the motivation factor? You started off with 7-1, I think it was. The Colts were, they were the highest thing since sliced bread, and then it's all come crumbling down like the USSR right now. Give me Seattle to cover this 13.5 at Lumen Field.
Yeah, I can't wait in a few years for the terrible Lifetime movie that's going to come out of this. Like, oh, the old high school coach that's 44 years old, that hasn't played in 5 years, and the NFL comes calling, hey, you want to start this weekend? Sure, that's normal. Why not? It's just terrible. Given that, I think the under is the play in this game. Sam Darnold is back to not being very good. The scoreboard will show a different story, but the last few weeks, he has not been that great. Kind of what he did in Minnesota last year after that great start. And then Phillip Rivers, like what? There's no way he's going to be able to move. It's going to probably be kind of funny to see when he gets some pressure. He's probably just going to fall down. But he does know this offense. He's running this same offense at his high school, which is probably why he's here. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what to expect from him. Has he even been throwing the football? I know he's probably hasn't been working out, which, quarterbacks don't really need to if they can get the ball out of their hands. But I don't know, going to be a lot of Jonathan Taylor for the Colts. So I'll probably end up betting the under on this. But I have no idea what to expect from this game. You and Chris are both on the Seahawks minus 13.5. He has this too. So that's also not a great sign. Could be a 13-point win for the Seahawks coming up.
Wouldn't it be? Or maybe they go Pete Carroll late, the Colts, and just kick the meaningless field goal that was not suspicious
Chris
at all.
What's Chris been doing with NFL to get so lucky?
Yeah, jeez. The Phillip Rivers, by the way, don't you love my Photoshop skills, Scotty? Now we can finally get to see what Phillip Rivers looks like. I got it so good. Who knows what he looks like in a Colts jersey? Which, by the way, he's wearing number 17. Even though Daniel Jones is 17, Phillip Rivers is wearing 17 because Jones is on the IR. I didn't know you could do that in the NFL. If one guy was on the IR and is out the rest of the year, then another guy could wear that number. I had no clue. I thought there were no double numbers in the NFL, even if the guy wasn't on the active roster.
Yeah, if he's not dressed. So I think they or is that just in college? I thought I saw in NFL where they have some double numbers. I'm just thinking of college there.
Yeah, that's college where you see guys have double numbers, and then you get the weird situation sometimes on like a special teams play where a DB comes in and he's wearing the same number as a wide receiver, so he has to like put on a different uniform on top of his uniform. Remember Georgia Tech in Colorado earlier this year? That Georgia Tech returner had like the 5X jersey on top of
Thinking of preseason NFL, they do that. But yeah, if they're not dressed, I don't see why they wouldn't be able to wear the same number.
Oh, yeah. Preseason, you're not burning numbers on guys who are going to be working at Enterprise Rent a Car in a couple of weeks. So, Phillip Rivers might be back there after this game. We'll see. Which, by the way, he's been eating good in Alabama, okay? Maybe he's gone to Big Bob Gibson's Barbecue or Dreamland or had some Kaneku sausage down there. I don't know. Or Backyard 40 Brewing Company pizza. I don't know what he's been doing down there, but he's been eating good in Alabama.
I did see something where a bunch of people, probably just for shits and giggles, betting the over 0.5 on his rush yards.
I did see somebody put like $50 on, I think it was Phillip Rivers to throw like 3 touchdowns. I think it was like 400 yards. The payout was like ridiculous.
Oh, not 400 yards.
Yeah, it was something ridiculous, but you never know. All right, Tennessee and San Francisco. Cam Ward and the Titans 2-11 going to the Bay to take on Brock Purdy and the Niners 9-4. San Francisco laying the 12.5. Total at 44.5. 425 on Fox. Before we get into this game, the only thing I know about Tennessee after this win last week was apparently there was a reporter who was in house that worked for the Titans who will not be traveling on the team bus anymore. Because did you hear about this story?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. As someone that used to live in that world, what you hear on the bus or the plane or whatever stays there. Maybe when things are done, when your career is over, you can write a book one day, but that's the player's domain. You stay there. What you hear there stays there. Apparently, he reported that the players were kind of playing down some of Cam Ward's comments after the win last week. I don't know the situation if it was jovial or they were just, saying, "Hey, don't get too high on this," whatever. I don't know, but yeah, that's something that you don't do. I used to work in radio, Scotty, and I also had another job in the athletic department of the school that we primarily covered. Conflict of interest? Of course it was, but then no one cared. But what I learned at my second job, I did not go back and report on the air. That's just a no-no. And I had a lot of conversations with people that I could have, and I know where a lot of bodies are buried, but I did not do that because those are ethics, sir. Someone needs to take that reporter back to journalism school.
Yeah.
But I digress.
I'm sure it was probably in good fun or seemed like it was in good fun. So he probably wasn't even thinking, which he should have been thinking, but probably just put it out there thinking it wasn't a big deal. They were having a good time. But then when you put that out there into the world, you just see that, oh, now it kind of looks like maybe they were taking a dig at Cam Ward when you just put a tweet out there, however he reported it. I don't even know. But yeah, you can't do that. So I'm sure he won't be allowed back.
No, I'm sure.
And then also shout out to Cam Ward for getting on his guys, telling them not to get too excited about a win over the Browns. I think so. This is on Chris's card. He's taken the Niners minus 12.5. Let me see if there's a better number. I don't think so. No. So yeah, 49ers minus 12.5. He's probably doing this because he's mad at the Titans. My Titans beat his Browns last week. Yeah. 49ers should cover. This is not on my card because it's kind of gross, but they should be able to cover this. But I could see the Titans backdooring and getting a backdoor cover, but I don't know. I'll probably look at a prop on this one. But yeah, Chris is going San Francisco minus 12.5.
I don't have this on my card. Stayed away from it. Just gross. But I could definitely see Tennessee backdooring something. San Francisco, what's the motivation in this one? This is a do enough to accomplish what you need to and get a win and don't get anyone hurt. They're starting to round into form a little bit, get some guys back. Of course, we all know their injury sagas and stuff over the course of the season. Just do what you need to do. Efficient, get it done, nothing sexy, and get in. You're at home. I was about to say get out of town, but there's no need to flex the muscles here or do anything sexy here. And maybe with that win last week, maybe Cam Ward's feeling himself a little bit. Maybe the guys are starting to build something a little bit. It certainly doesn't help their tank status, obviously going into the draft and their draft position. But the guys are on the team right now aren't thinking about that because some of these guys won't even be back. They're auditioning for the other 31 teams in the league or the CFL or UFL or whatever the hell they call that rinky-dink league that they have over in France. But yeah, these guys are playing for jobs next year. They're not worried about what draft pick the Titans are going to get.
Yeah, kind of like the over too. I mean, Tennessee somehow won that game last week, and they gave up, 4 touchdowns and 400 yards to Shador, which is insane. Like, how do they win that game against that defense, giving up that? Now you got going to San Francisco. So, yeah, kind of probably stay away from the side. Maybe the over. I don't know. I might look at a prop.
All right, that rounds out our cards. Now we got our underdog parlay. Scotty, I will say real quick, this did not make the underdog parlay, but I almost put this on here. I wanted to show this, though. Panthers, NFC South leading Panthers, are favored against the Saints, and they're 0-11 against the spread straight up and against the spread as a favorite since 2021 as a travel time. No.
Yeah. I heard this earlier in the week, and I was trying to think last night when I was putting my picks together I forgot what game this was. If I would have remembered, I probably would have had this on my card. But, yeah, you can't bet Carolina as a road favorite.
I cannot trust them. I almost put this as my upset this week, but do I really trust the Saints either? So I don't know. Carolina's got to prove something.
Shuck, how you say his name? Shuck?
Tyler Shuck, I think it is. I think it's like shucking an oyster, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. He, I don't know. He's a little dual threadish a little bit last week. I hit his over rush yards, but so yeah, I don't know. I think the Saints might pull that one off. I should have made that my underdog pick, but oh well. Here we are.
Shuck Shuck showed some moxie last week too. I think he got absolutely obliterated when he scored that second rushing touchdown, if I remember correctly. So, guys will get into that. You'll play for a guy just like Jackson Dart. He'll go out there and lay himself out there and take the hits and kind of fire.
Well, too much.
Well, a little too much for Dart, but yeah. All right, let's take a look here at this underdog parlay. Did I bring in the graphic? I don't think I loaded it. I have it right here. I loaded it yesterday. Just didn't put it on the thing. So we do a little pre-show, little show producing on the fly right here. Give me 1 second here, Scotty. Apologize for that. It's refill time. There we go. Our underdog parlay brought to you by no one. Of course, we got our dear friend Buster here. Christmas is right around the corner. We need to make some money so we can feed Buster. You got to get a Chewy box, a Bark box, whatever that may be. Santa Paws is coming to town for this guy. These picks, we use the DraftKings Sportsbook for this one.
Got to put a Santa hat on him next week.
Oh, you know what? Give me a picture of Buster with a Santa hat. I'll drop it on there for you. Good luck getting that hat on him, I'm sure. Good luck with that. All right, take a look here. I think Chris is up first. He has got the Washington Commanders taking on the New York Giants.
Kiss of death, which is good because I want us to go 3-14 so we can get whoever the best pass rusher is in the draft.
Chris is going with the Commanders, taking on the Giants in New York there. Giants 2.5-point favorites. Chris riding, though, with the Commanders straight up to get the upset on the road there. Next up, the Broncos. I know you're not a fan of Sean Payton in Denver.
I couldn't really find a underdog I really liked. I almost went NBA with my Orlando Magic, but Franz Wagner's out, so I did not. I don't know. I don't really trust Jordan Love yet. That pass defense for the Broncos on the road. I can see Jordan Love having one of those games where he's just scared to throw the ball, and the Broncos luck out again somehow and get the win.
Okay, going with Denver plus 110 at home there. And then I am rounding things out with the Miami Dolphins plus 140 Monday night in Pittsburgh. Of course, no TJ Watt. Unfortunate situation with that collapsed lung. Hopefully everything is all right there. I know he had surgery on that. We know about the Dolphins. We know about Tua's record and everything in cold weather does not bode well. But this Miami team has been running the football quite well. I know Achane is dealing with a rib injury. He practiced all week. He appears to be good to go and lock, stock, and barrel, ready to rock and roll there. We saw, what he's done all season on the ground. And then, of course, last week, Jalen Wright, what did he put up? Like 100 and some yards, I think, against the Jets last week. I mean, his Jets, but still, if they can go 1-2 a little bit on the ground, and Pittsburgh's offense ain't exactly setting the world on fire anywhere. I don't think they have a lot of room for error if Aaron turns it over somewhere along the line. So, give me Miami to get a win there in the Steel City. You drop these into the DraftKings Sportsbook. That's coming out at plus 1028. If Chris, while he's picking up, carcasses on the side of the road, if he finds a $100 bill there that someone threw out the window, and he decides to put it into the DraftKings Sportsbook and bet it, what does he win?
He would profit $1,028.
$1,028. More money than he's ever seen in his life. They'll buy you a lot of Newports for Christmas. Should we just get him a holiday stocking and just put Newports in it for him?
Yeah, Newports and basketball shorts. That could be his first rap album name.
Newports and just have him posted up outside of the ice machine at a Stuckey's gas station somewhere. Yeah, Newports and Newports and basketball shorts. Yeah, drop that into the DraftKings Sportsbook plus 1028 this week. Right before we get out of here, Scotty, you had mentioned something. You and I, we kind of talked about this in the group chat this week. The Bare Knuckle FC, they're doing like a cruise. I believe this is in 2027 is when this is going to be. It's
enough
January.
Time to cancel that shit.
Oh, yeah. By the way, good luck. I want to see what insurance company is going to take on the task of doing this. Let's see if I can bring in the graphic for this year.
Do you need insurance and all that if you're out?
Oh, yeah. You got to have
water.
Event insurance. The boat sinks and, people get hurt or something. You got to have event insurance. All right. So Bare Knuckle FC, if you can see this here on the graphic from Instagram, January 22nd through 25th, 2027, it is the Bare Knuckle FC. SEA, the Combat Sports Festival at Sea. They're sailing from Miami to Nassau, Bahamas. There, you have a chance where you can win a free cabin there. I love this person says, will there be a fight on the cruise? Lose should mean loser has to swim in the ocean. By the way, I like the shark. I showed this to my wife. She said that she likes the shark swimming, but below adds a real element of danger.
Yeah. This is a terrible idea.
The worst idea in the history of like human civilization. This is one step from Roman gladiators, and like you just die and they throw you to the lions. That's what this is. Oh, there'll be fights on this ship. I just don't know if there'll be sanctioned fights.
Yeah. So I mean, so there is going to be actual like they plan on putting a fight card on, right?
I believe, but there's still not a lot of information about it yet. I went to the website. There was just an area where you could sign up to get your information. I mean, if they're showing people fighting on the graphic, I assume that there's going to be fights on there.
Yeah. I mean, you look at UFC fans, and there are already a lot of them are kind of questionable. And now you're talking about bare knuckle fighting fans on a boat. When you have fights, people get pretty amped up. They get that adrenaline going. They want to fight themselves. And now you're trapping them on a boat and giving them all the booze that they want. Yeah, this will 100% be on the news. Something crazy is going to happen. So let's look forward to it. Oh, that's right after my my birthday. So I'll be turning 42 and yeah, get to see some good news stories come out of this.
You know, Scotty, your mother, your lovely mother is one of our big fans of this show. If she's watching right now, maybe that's an early birthday present. She can start saving away for you right now.
No, you could not pay me to go on this. There's no way.
You know,
something's going to happen. Some people are going to go missing, or there's just going to be like fights all over the place, and they're not going to be able to control it. Terrible idea.
I did have a chance. I'm not sure if you know this, but I can see into the future with these glasses. I did have a chance to take a look at this, and I did get some future video of this fight festival.
Let's go, put him down. Hey, watch where you're going. Bahamas, baby, let's go.
I was also able to get another scene from the festival as well.
Keep it clean, watch the back of the head.
You spilled my drink, man. Get off me!
What the fuck? All right.
Yeah. And as they were coming back to head to Miami, obviously there were some issues, and I was able to see what happens here too.
Everyone this way, quickly now.
Keep fighting, don't let him up.
We're going down, save yourselves.
Get her.
That last one is the most accurate.
Yeah.
Something like that's going to happen.
And one more from the rescue scene.
Get her in the harness now, move.
Finish him, don't let him up. We're all gonna die.
Yep, pretty much.
Coast Guard right now has got their hands full with smugglers and everything, but they certainly will be getting a call to that fight ship in international waters somewhere between Miami and the Bahamas.
What a nightmare.
That's the worst idea ever. That's right up there with the, what do you think has more carnage, that or the $1 beers today in Stephenville, Texas?
Oh, the cruise by far, not even close.
Maybe they'll do $1 beers.
They can leave, take people out.
That's true. Maybe they'll do $1 beers on the cruise.
I've never been on a cruise, but I do feel like isn't there like all-inclusive packages and shit where you just get free beer?
That is true. But think about it. These are people that are bare knuckle fans. Do they have the money for that? You get a bunch of people flying Southwest and what is it? Regent? No, Allegiant is the other. What's the other shitty airline? Frontier. But I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Frontier airline flights going down there to the port of Miami to get on this cruise ship. I'm sure there's a lot of people wearing chain wallets, which, by the way, my dad used to wear a chain wallet. Not a good look. Not a good look.
No.
All right. Well, Scotty, once again, not a good look was our betting picks. We'll hope to improve on these standings here
Why you got to show them
today.
again? You
Well,
already showed them.
it was a good segue.
I guess I got back to 500.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into it. We'll see what these picks do. Make sure to like, subscribe, be a friend, tell a friend. Join us back here Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. for the Let's Not Do This podcast. We apologize. Scheduling issues. We didn't have an episode this week. But Wednesday, we'll be back at 7:30. We'll get you ready for Thursday Night Football, which will be Rams at Seahawks this week coming up. And we'll get some early bowl picks as well, because we'll be fully in the midst of bowl season and whatever weird news and stuff is out there. Maybe we'll get another drunk raccoon in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Or maybe, after Bare Knuckle FC has put this out there, maybe the Professional Fight League wants to do their own cruise as well. You never know.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you when we see you. Go NC State Monday night. Let's get a national championship.
Nah.
Peace.